Hello everybody and Jessica and welcome back to Ooyukiumi no Kaina, Kaina of the Great Snow Sea, episode 5. This time I don't have to check that because I remember I downloaded and launched episode 5. Right, what can we expect in today's episode? Is it really hard to tell? I wanted to say that it is, because the pacing hasn't really been constant, so to speak. Some episodes are paced faster, some episodes are paced slower. So Kaina and Ririha's brother might spend the entire episode in the underground with some scenes from perhaps Valgia, where they have Ririha, maybe some moments of Ririha and Amelothe. I don't know, but the whole episode will be spent on an adventure in the underground, or underwater even, because they are aiming to go underwater. But some episodes are paced much faster, so this episode might very well be we go there, we get Ririha, and we go back, and that's the whole episode. All of that stuff could happen in the span of a single episode as well. So it's kind of hard to predict what exactly is going to happen in this particular episode, because we know more or less what's going to happen in general future. And yeah, I think that's about it when it comes to my predictions for this episode. But a little bit out of order, let's talk about the previous episode now. Because in the previous episode, after that is Kaina and Ririha, found their way back onto the ground sea, rather, back into Atlant, there was a fierce battle, of course. Ririha was captured by enemy forces, by General Amelothe and her goons. We had a bit of an epic fight with Amelothe against a dude whose name I forgot, but he's like a high-ranking officer in the Atlantean army, and Ririha's friend, mentor, kind of person, maybe, I don't know, maybe favorite subordinate, who knows. He's a named character though, so he's gonna be important. Ririha, of course, gave the order to retreat. Don't waste your lives, don't waste your forces, you're not gonna win against Valgia, so just retreat, save Kaina, and go back to Atlant, and that's what they did. We met Ririha's father, and I don't know, Ririha's mother, maybe not, some sort of a advisor to the court, and they were very pragmatic and very cold. Oh, Ririha was captured? Sure, cool. I mean, that's her prerogative. She chose to do that, so now she suffers consequences. Oh, they're gonna try to trade her for our surrender. Well, we're not gonna surrender, and she knows it really well, so again, that's kind of on her. Very, very cold. Instantly reminded me of the situation where Kaina was leaving the village in the canopy, where he also didn't really, like, I don't know, was perfectly fine with living from the get-go. There were no reservations, no crying, no nothing. I don't know, maybe it's just how characters in the series are written, maybe there's something more going on, who the fuck knows. In the meantime, we of course also dived into the depths of the ocean, of the Great Snow Sea, and that already uncovered a couple of very important details to us, namely that the snow, or the spores, or whatever it is floating on a layer of clear liquid. Probably not water, because why would they have issues with water if it was water, even salinated, right? So probably something else, glycerin, I don't know, something along those lines. and some sort of a coolant. My theory was that the substance the sea is made of is the same thing that the canopy is made of, but kind of like two different forms, solid and liquid. That could be interesting, because when they were diving, they didn't let out bubbles of air, rather some weird crystals. So that was interesting. I've also read some theory that it might not be liquid, it might be gas. I guess that's also a possibility. I don't know. I don't know my gases. It could be some completely other thing. It could be an amassing of energy, mana, magic, whatever you want to call it. So, unless we learn more details, I don't think we'll be able to say anything concrete on the topic. We will need to learn some more, right? So, how about we do just that, hopefully, and watch this episode. What was that accent? And watch this episode, of course. Maybe it will shed some light on the questions we all are having. So you're gonna need your subs, of course, to follow along. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on. And I'm gonna need your support on Patreon or Throne monetarily, or if you don't want to spend any money, share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps a lot. And with all of that out of the way, I think we can start watching episode 5 of Ooyukiumi no Kaina in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, and of course, Kaina met Liliha's brother. Why was this place abandoned? Oh. Interesting. Okay, explains why it was abandoned. Makes perfect sense, actually. The underground area seems perfectly livable, though. Why did they abandon it? Surprise, surprise, no monsters? More symbols. Yep, yep, yep. Okay, the same thing as on the goblin. Oh, and here's the guide spirit. Same like skewed words as on the goblin in the king's chamber. No doubt in my mind right now that those words will be significant. Words of warning, perhaps? I don't know. Words of salvation. Okay, we're establishing a little bit of their relationship. Not covered by spores. So it's not foam. It is spores or whatever. I mean, we saw them falling from the sky. And then there are those things. They seem to be much bigger than I thought. And the crystalline, not bubbles. Okay, so the bottom of that sea isn't quite as low as I thought. I thought it's like nearly bottomless. But you can see the ground. You can see the seafloor. Hmm. Hmm. Man, I'm looking into everything that I see in the opening, trying to glean something from it. There was that shooting star. Is that gonna be significant? Oh, and of course, Amalothe has power armor. Forgot to mention that in the opening segment. And we know that Valgia is mobile. It's not built on a tree stump. It's a mobile city that apparently avoids spire trees, orbital trees. Interesting, isn't it? Okay, go save your princess and let's continue our adventure. Oh, I was about to say no snow, but no, there is snow. Hello, Amalothe. That smile. That goddamn smile. They won't. Are you, though? I mean, she's not wrong. No, unlikely, actually. Okay, bluffing. Oh, okay. It had an effect on Amalothe. You did flinch. Is he the sage, perhaps? He's proof that people live in a canopy. I mean, he kinda is. If the old man who can read words is the sage, then Kaina would be a sage's apprentice. She's not wrong. Okay, don't go that far. Don't, like, overwork your lies. Keep it simple, keep it believable, keep it, like, on level, right? Don't go like, oh, I actually met God and he's gonna smite you. No. I mean, she is clever. She went for a bluff. But Amalothe is just as clever, if not more. Okay, maybe it's not the seafloor, it's just like, yeah, it's just going so deep that the visibility is low. Yeah. Whomst. Collector of oddities. We're gonna have to take a deeper look at what he collected there. True. The boy ain't here no more. And the prince also disappeared. Magic? I mean, he might just be the sage, right? He stayed behind, curiously enough. You'd think he'd be the king's bodyguard. Does Kaina and the brother actually have any sort of a plan? Or is it just we get there and we're gonna think about what we're gonna do when we get there? Oh, okay. A swarm of sharp fish. I'm assuming fish. And they do look sharp. Are they organic? I'm fucking questioning everything. Are those fish organic? Also, how are you gonna save Liliha without the third breathing apparatus? You don't have a third mask, do you? Okay. Yaona? It has a name now? First time I hear the name being mentioned. Yaona. Oh, wait, his name is Yaona. The fuck is an ascender? That sounds like a descender, not an ascender. Yeah. Is that the Gundam mecha robot thing we saw in the opening? Is that the ascender? Is that the ascender? Ah, fuck. Where is it? Ascender. Okay, show me the Admiral. Gruff old man. About what I expected. Hook hand. Missing arm. Missing eye. Cataract in this other one. Something tells me Amelothe doesn't like the Admiral. The side glance her attendant gave her. Probably, yeah. Look at what? Hmm. Can you get more, though? That's an issue. Can you get more of the airberries? I'm assuming it's a finite supply. Valgan army? No. Atlanteans going for the negotiations. Yeah, what kind of a plan? Oh, hitch a ride on those things? I mean, it is a plan, sure. Can you control them, though? Just gonna harpoon them? Yeah, just gonna harpoon them. And I guess hope they're going in the direction you need them to go. And not, like, turn around and go the opposite way. Okay, we still have a little bit of time. Yeah, they're changing course. I was about to say just don't hit the barnacles. Barnacles can cut you up real fucking bad. Are we any closer to the island? The head of the princess. You don't kill the messenger, my dude. Yeah, I was about to say, how will Atlant get the message, but I guess that's how. And what was that? Ah. Yeah, you're not gonna make it in time. Liliha is probably already dead. Take his mask off so he can breathe actual air. Kinda. Yeah. And you won't make it there. In time or not, it's quite a ways off. Okay, so she's still alive. Brofist? Brofist. Okay. And the guiding spirit. Why is Liliha still alive, though? They don't need her for negotiations anymore. I don't think Amelothi rebelled. Now, I do think that she will rebel eventually. She clearly doesn't like the Admiral. But I don't think she did it right now. What could it be? Yeah, no clue. No idea. There has to be a reason for that, don't get me wrong, but I have no idea what that reason might possibly be. Okay, sure. Sure, I guess that was the episode. As I said, I guess that was the episode. So how about we watch it again now, and maybe we'll be able to glean something more from what we've seen. Chimney from the old castle. The more new roots from spire trees you find, engulfing. They're engulfing the castle and its city. So is the damage because the roots are piercing through the through the castle walls, through the buildings. Is that it? Like, as the water climbs, the tree starts sprouting roots higher and higher. That would be the only explanation I have, because those areas look habitable. Like, they aren't perfect, but, I mean, time did its thing, right? They look shoddy and unkempt, but nobody was there to upkeep them, so of course they look like that, but you could organize barracks here. You could have a workshop. You could have people living there. You could have archives or whatever. It's livable space, so why else would they have abandoned it? Snow sea is always rising, so we keep building higher and higher, indeed. Deeper down, you'll find even older castles and cities. How far back in history does it go? Also, this sentence seems significant somehow. Maybe you guys will reach the canopy one day. The sea is rising. The sea isn't rising so fast as for that to happen in the span of the show, I don't think, unless they manage to somehow speed it up. But then what would be the purpose of that? What would be the benefit of the sea reaching the canopy? Not really any, would it? Right? So, interesting. Also, another thing I just realized. The snow sea is constantly rising. Where does that liquid come from? You can't just create matter out of nothing. Sea levels rising means that liquid, that fluid has to come from somewhere. From where, though? From where? Glaciers melting? Probably not. Although I guess that would be possible. Or maybe the spire trees work the other way than what I thought. It's not that they bring the liquid up and use that liquid to build that membrane. It's rather that the membrane and everything up above is catching some space debris and liquefies it and stores it on the surface of the planet. I don't know. I guess I will note it down, but I don't know. Trees catch space stuff to make ocean fluid and store it. Maybe. They didn't take a piece of a rug. They told us never to enter this area because of the monsters. I wonder if there actually are monsters. We haven't seen any. And there's the rug with words. And not just singular words at the bottom, but multiple clusters of words all around. It's probably some sort of kanji. I don't know. If you do know Japanese, and does it say anything? Because those characters look vaguely Japanese. They don't look Korean, maybe Chinese, but more Japanese looking. Can they actually be read? I don't know. And the spirit guide. I'm assuming its purpose was to tell Kaina to stop there and read it, but The spirit guide usually appears to stop Kaina and the Liliha or take their attention towards something that will help them. This appearance was kind of not helpful, so I don't know why did it appear. Now we learn a little bit more about the relationship of Yaona and Liliha. And the snow sea isn't translucent in this shot. It's probably just like artistic choice or limitation of the CG renderer or whatever, that it's not translucent. Or perhaps it's significant somehow, I don't know. 2 rebreathers and we are under the sea. Walking along the routes. And those things are much bigger than I thought. I thought they're the size of like a dolphin, but they are more like the size of a whale, like a small whale. And we see more of those like crystals forming that he's breathing out. Not bubbles, crystals. That has to be significant somehow. And I thought those roots here are laid on top of some ground, but no. It's just so deep that the visibility goes low, and at some point you stop seeing. How deep do they go, actually? Nobody knows. Opening. Barnacles. Floater. Amelothe. Interestingly, we don't see the Admiral in the opening. And yeah, Amelothe isn't wrong here. You can surrender now. Atlant can surrender now, and they get their princess back. And they even might retain some rights, and they might even be allowed to live. They will probably have to give up their water, but they will get to live. Or do not surrender and get wiped out. Surrender is preferable in this situation. But of course the father is too proud to do that. If you go to war, it will be Valgia that loses. Unlikely, very unlikely, but of course, Liliha does a little bit of bluffing. It did get a reaction out of Amelothe, which is interesting. And yeah, she's thinking, she's wondering. She doesn't take everything Liliha says at face value, of course, but she's not completely disbelieving her. There's no need to fight anymore. They shall provide us with a never-ending supply of water. If you told us when you were captured, yeah, it wouldn't have changed anything. Would have captured me, and you would have captured Kaina. To use us for your nefarious purposes. Exactly. This is a step too far. This is a step too far, I think, and that's what kind of broke her bluff. When you're lying, when you're bluffing, you need to take care of that. That what you say is actually still believable. Right? When you say, I don't know, I was out eating food and I met a guy who told me he's an actor and had a tertiary background role in, I don't know, House MD. That's believable. if you were to lie like that, right? You met a random guy who just happened to work on the set of House MD somewhere in the background, maybe laying in bed as a patient or something like that, right? When you go out, when you tell someone that you went out to grab some food and you met, I don't know, Nicolas Cage, that's a little harder to believe, especially if you don't have any proof, any selfie or anything with them, right? You need to make your lies believable. You need to make your bluff believable. This is going a step too far, right? This is going a step too far, and it's also antagonizing Valgia, antagonizing Amelothe. So far, what Liliha was saying is that, hey, yo, the sage is gonna come, sage is gonna create water, we won't have to fight anymore. Perfect solution, we will be able to live in peace together in harmony. But then she's like, oh, and he's gonna destroy you. Sage is gonna come and he's gonna destroy Valga in the blink of an eye, because he's this powerful. Right? She can't help but antagonize a little bit, and yeah. Yeah, and yeah, surrender while you have the chance. No. That's too far. Wait for the sage to do his thing, then sure, start the war, but wait for the sage to do his thing, because the war might not even be needed. That's how we go about it, not surrender while we have the chance. We'll be sure to be on our toes. A clever little princess indeed. Some beautiful vistas underwater, almost said underground. Maybe better to think. Even the advisor is like, hey, maybe we could use Kaina somehow. Maybe we're jumping the shark a little bit. Let's not start the war yet. Let's play for time. Let's stall them a little bit. Is there anything interesting? Let's see. On the left, some musical instruments, some sort of a cello. Then I can see a chest plate from. It looks like a what is it? A gambazon? Is that what it is? Gambazon. No, gambazon is the thing you wear underneath. It's some sort of a chest plate. That's what matters. Some skulls, some swords, steel swords, seemingly, and the chest plate is also metal, which is not something they can extract, apparently. Now, I mean, there's no way they can extract steel. They can extract iron or any sort of a metal. They just have trees around. They can't exactly mine. There is a not a clock. What's it called? Fuck. Time something. Let me translate it again. Yeah, well, not again, but hourglass. Duh. Yeah, there's an hourglass. Can they produce glass? I don't think they have sand. Then there is a skull of some fucked up looking thing. It looks like a. It looks humanoid. Humanoid top row of teeth right here, in front of my finger. Humanoid first row of teeth. Humanoid location of eyes. Some weird nose-like protrusion. And red gems embedded in it. And it's also not drawn in the background art style. That's interesting. It's gonna be significant, I think. Weird skull thing. episode 5, and that'll be 822. I wonder if that's gonna be significant. And some plates, I think. Right, they wouldn't be able to make ceramic. They don't have access to clay. Yeah, comparatively, they don't have any, like, steel weapons either. They have this, like, weird purple-looking metal they make their knives and swords out of, but is it metal, or is it some sort of a kitten or something, or processed wood or whatever? The furnace looks like it might have steel chimney, but I don't think it's steel. You think Valga would believe us? Maybe. It's just a boy, not the sage himself. I mean, he's not wrong here. And yeah, the king completely disregarded everything. He seemingly has no regard for his children, right? Liliha's gonna die. Oh well. Yauna disappeared somewhere. She's just, I know, going somewhere. Don't bother me, women. I'm thinking of more important things than my own children. The king has a demeanor of a nice guy, but when you hear him speak, he's not so nice. He's not so nice. And then there's this guy who stayed behind. Set us up for negotiations. Those look like miniatures of those big fish. I wonder whether it's stages of development, right? Those are young, maybe freshly hatched, and they're this small, and those big ones are like old Methusalems of dartfish. I'm just gonna call them dartfish. They make very sharp noises. And yeah, they are those big fish just scaled down. And notice how they don't pursue. I wonder if those fish are actually organic. Or maybe, I don't know. A combination of being organic and mechanical. Some sort of a biomechanical creation. Air pocket. Make sure to pee when you can. Oh, the callback. And of course, he also needed a piss. This floaty glowy thing. And apparently Yaona didn't see it either. It's just Liliha and Kaina. I wonder why it's just the two of them. I hope this glowing guide spirit thing actually gets explained. That it's not gonna be like, oh, we saved the day, the world is saved, look at the meadows, look at the trees, normal trees this time, ha 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 ha. Right, look at the animals, look at the city being built. Not Yaona, Liliha, my beloved, isn't the world beautiful? But now, and then credits, and after credits, there's like, but what was that glowing spirit thing though? Wah, wah, wah. And the series ends. Right? I would hate for that to happen. I would hate for that to happen. Or if they were to just not mention it, it's just a thing that is. They save the world, the spirit appears, twirls around, and just poofs out of existence. And what was it? Where did it come from? Why did it help them? I don't know. I don't know. I hope my charger. I hope it doesn't happen. Liliha named it Light. Ascender. A monster that lives in the snow sea. If you see it, you'll be cursed and it'll pull you under the snow sea where it'll tear you into shreds. Legendary guardian of the snow sea. That, like, fits that big robot from the opening to a T. I think that might be the Ascender. Yeah, it's wood. I thought Valgian ships might be made of metal, but it is wood. And they built this little outpost also out of wood and bark, mostly, it seems. Is it a fallen orbital tree? I think it is. I want to check out his voice actor. Ooyukiumi no Kaina. Is he listed? Should be. Handagil, voiced by Nobuyuki Hiyama, who also voiced Popko, but who hasn't voiced Popko. Oh, okay, I know where I recognize that voice from. Eclair from Overlord, the Penguin Battler. Anybody else? Kinoshita from Shirobako. Geira from Promare. Haven't seen Promare yet. I'm gonna have to watch it one day. Coralie from Renei Bokun. Someone from Gintama. Zaimakuza from Yahari Ore. I think I did already check out his voice actor, didn't I? I think I have. Viral from Tengen Tonpa Gurren Lagann. And plenty other roles. Okay. Not gonna stay on that too long. Here's an interesting character. Does he have... He has both legs, so it's just his right hand missing, replaced with a hook. His left eye missing. His right eye, probably a cataract, going half blind already. Amelothe could take him. I have no doubts about it. She could just snap his neck, but she chooses not to. Tell me how you'd like to die. Take your filthy hook off me. That's good. The rebellious look in your eyes. Princesses should be noble. And this thing. Amelothe has that look on her. And then this guy is like, whoa. Whoa, Amelothe-sama, are we, like, shit, this guy is... Oh, right? That's the kind of non-verbal communication I get from that. You could move much faster if you were on your own. I thought they're gonna actually do that. Kaina is going to leave Yaona behind in that air pocket for a bit. Because, first of all, he wouldn't have a second rebreather to save Liliha. Even if he were to go there to sneak in to grab Liliha, how are they gonna escape? Take Yaona's rebreather. Bring Liliha back to safety. Go back with a spare rebreather for Yaona. Give him the rebreather. Go back with Yaona. Everybody's safe at home. But no, apparently the berries went dark. They don't look like berries, they look like nuts. Yeah, they look and sound like nuts. Your airberries have gone so dark. You must have had a hard time breathing. I must have wasted so much air. Don't be this was your first time. So I guess the efficiency of breathing also matters. I wonder if people of the canopy and people of the sea evolved or changed a little to fit their respective environments better, because that's two physical differences we have between Kaina and Yauna. People of canopy and of sea evolved differently. And I don't mean that they evolved from monkeys into the same species, into similar species, but with different characteristics, but rather from Homo sapiens into two like slightly different branches, because Kaina's breathing is apparently much more efficient. He doesn't waste air, and he can use those berries for longer, which would make sense when you're up there, when the air is very thin, or there is a lack of air even. You evolve, you adjust, your body adjusts to that area. There are tribes, cultures living way up there in Himalayas, and they do differ on a physical level from people from the lowlands. Their blood is much more efficient at transporting oxygen. Their lungs are more efficient. They can do more with the limited amount of oxygen they have up there. So it would make sense that Kaina would have that sort of an adjustment. Also, Kaina's eyesight is much better, apparently. I wonder if it's because the sea is so wide and blinding light is everywhere, so the eyes of people of the sea adjusted to take in less light. Their eyes can last their entire lives without losing eyesight because of all the glowing snow all around. But the trade-off for that is they are more nearsighted. Could be. I'm not talking like evolution that completely separated them, but those small adjustments. Let me swap them out from what, though? Do you have a bag of airberries with you? Can you grow them? Can you replenish them? That would be my concern. Surface. Yeah, it happened already twice that Kaina saw something that Yauna didn't. That's where they're negotiating. It does look like a fallen orbital tree. They took a wrong route, apparently. Interesting. This is on one hand, it's a very good plan because those fish are fast. On the other hand, it's a very bad plan because you can't control where they go. What if they turn? And they do turn, eventually. And it does cause issues. And we now can fully see the scale of them. And we can fully see that those fish and the tiny little fish are the exact same model, just scaled up or down accordingly. And they do have 4 eyes, it would seem. Perfect radial symmetry. Something that doesn't exist in nature. In, like, at least in more complex animals. Radial symmetry exists in, like, mollusks. Not even. Some, I guess, like sea cucumbers have outer radial symmetry. I don't know, starfish have outer radial symmetry. But more complex creatures like fish, for example, or mammals, or birds, or even insects, they don't have radial symmetry. Those things do have radial symmetry, so they are either artificial or there has to have been one hell of an evolutionary event that turned Earth species into this thing. Assuming it's Earth, and not a planet that humans colonized. I guess that would be another explanation. Humans colonized the planet. Maybe it's humans trying to terraform it. Trees are a terraforming attempt. I have it noted down, but terraforming as in trying to save our planet. But it's humans arrived at some planet that had those weird species and started terraforming. They planted the seeds. That would explain the warning signs, right? Warning signs. Hey, look out, huge insects. This is not Earth. This is a planet that humans tried terraforming with orbital trees, and something went tits up. Either the planet is mid-terraforming, it just isn't finished yet, and people were supposed to evacuate and go back to Earth for another 20,000 years and then come back to the planet when it's fully terraformed, but some stayed behind and are suffering for it. Or they were supposed to plant those trees and build cities and start living on that planet as it was terraforming, but something went tits up and the planet was unterraformed even. The planet is not Earth. Humans tried terraforming. That kind of shadows my previous theory about terraforming itself, but this is more specific, that it's not Earth. They're late. They aren't. Well, maybe a little. And yeah, that's why it was a bad idea. It was as good of an idea as it was a bad idea. The dartfish spins a little. Yeah, it definitely has 4 eyes. And you faceplant into barnacles, which is not fun. This is interesting because it looks as if Kaina had a stupid little smile from behind the mask. It's like sliver of cloth or something. It looks like he had a really dumb smile and was sleeping and had mask on. I speak for the king of a rich nation coexisting with the orbital spire tree, to the leaders of our rootless nation adrift in the snow sea. The people of Atlant will not yield to barbarians. This is interesting. Rich nation, arguable, coexisting with the orbital spire tree versus a nation without roots adrift in the snow sea. There is some duality in it. Sedentary lifestyle versus nomadic lifestyle. Coexisting with nature versus exploiting nature. Is it an environmentalistic message? Is that what we're gonna see there? At the end of the season, Captain Planet is gonna pop up from below and say, "Hey kids, remember to do not pollute the Earth." Is that what we're going for? I don't know, maybe. The people of Atlant will not yield to barbarians. Who's the barbarians here, honestly? I mean, I know Valgian aesthetic is very like this, right? All that's missing is skulls on top of those like spokes, or what? Which hand is which? On top of those things, you just place some skulls, and that's like Valgian aesthetic. But they are objectively more technologically advanced than Atlant, in some regards at least. Valgians use bows and arrows. Atlanteans have some acorn guns. So they are a little bit more advanced in that regard, but Valgians have massive ships. Atlanteans just have cavalry. Is it because having a fleet requires too much wood from the orbital tree? And Atlanteans live in harmony with the trees? Don't harm them this much? Meanwhile, Valgian said, fuck it. The tree is dry, it's no longer giving us any water. Let's just fucking cut it down, build a fleet, and seek water elsewhere. That could be it. Valgians used their original tree to build the fleet. And that marks the first page full of notes. We're starting the second page now. And of course, killing the messenger. I think even Amelothe is a little shaken. Her attendant for sure is. Look at that hand. It's like, oof, right? No, fuck. And Amelothe giving a glance to Liliha. The fear in his voice. Of course, a war would reduce the number of mouths to feed. Is that a part of why Valgia is going to wars? We can't feed everybody. We need to keep our population under a certain limit to be able to feed everybody. How do we cull our people in a way where they aren't displeased with it? If we impose a single child policy, people aren't gonna like it. If we say old people are getting forcefully forcefully euthanized, people aren't gonna like it. If we banish the people who are above our population cap, people aren't gonna like it. So what do? We make up a cause for a war. In war, people die. If people believe in the cause of that war, they die willingly. Let's make up whatever bullshit reason for a war, and go to war. And as soon as X number of people, of our people, die, we call it off. Preferably we would have won. If not, we could still explain it somehow. What matters is that those people weren't sent to their deaths. They went to their deaths willingly. Right? That's how you keep your population content, while at the same time culling their numbers. I wonder if that's it, or at least a part of it. Valgia using wars for population control. I think it might be the case. Someone's calling my landline. Who the fuck calls a landline in this day and age? I need to take a good look at what happens here. Okay, the other messengers were knocked out by Valgians. Right, because 3 of them arrived here. Right, they were... there were 3 snow horses. 1 messenger is dead, so they took care of the other 2. It's already night. We managed to get to our destination, but it's night. We didn't make it in time. Wait, look over there. This is the Admiral's ship, if I'm not mistaken, because it has yellow accents on it. And Liliha, for some reason, has been kept alive. Is it a bait for Kaina? Is it a bait for Kaina? The Admiral likes curiosities. Kaina is a curiosity. Amelothe heard the whole story about the sage. Could she have stopped the Admiral's hand and be like, hey, don't kill Liliha, she's gonna be useful. She said she knows the sage from the canopy. Let's put her on display, wait for the sage to arrive, and capture the sage. Right? She can still prove useful to us. If the sage doesn't arrive, or if it all turns out to be a lie, or whatever, we can always kill her as long as she's in captivity. You don't need to do that now. We can still gain something out of it. I think that might be the case. Question. Did Amelothe save Liliha's life purely to use her as bait, or does she have a conscience? Or does she perhaps have faith that, hey, it seems unlikely, but on the off chance that whole sage person exists, I want the wars to end. I want everybody to live peacefully together. I want prosperity for my people and for this world. I want this world to be fixed. On the off chance the sage exists, let's fucking not kill her. That might be Amelothe's thinking. Or she might have taken liking to Liliha. I don't know. Or she might have a plan of her own. She wants to go against the Admiral somehow and perhaps capture the whole country, become the ruler, because it seems their Admiral is essentially like the king of Atland. Atlantean king is the same thing as Valgan Admiral. But since Valgans don't have a country, they have a fleet. They don't have a king. They have an Admiral of the fleet. Makes sense. Makes sense. Liliha is a bait for Kaina set up by Amelothe, which E has an accent. First E has an accent. Amelothe. Bro fist. Fist bump. The spirit thing. Who the fuck is this thing? Oh man. I don't know. I have no clue. So many questions, so little answers. This is Amelothe standing against the giant robot. That much I am almost certain of. Oh boy. Boy, oh boy. That was episode 5 of Ooyukiumi no Kaina. And the plot thickens. The plot thickens. I like how in this series, sometimes you have a series where the plot, the world, and the characters and everything have like dedicated episodes, right? There's a world building episode, there is a story episode, there is a character development episode, there is an exposition episode, right? Purpose made episodes, so to speak. In case of Ooyukiumi no Kaina, each episode develops a little bit of everything. Each episode gives you a little bit more of world building, a little bit more of lore, a little bit more of a story, a little bit more of character development, a little bit more of characters that have already been developed to that point. We have bits and pieces of everything. We see the dartfish, we see the bottomless floor of the ocean, not floor of the ocean. We see the air pockets, we see the air berries, we see the fallen orbital tree. There's so much world building. We get a little bit more of Amelothe character. We get a little bit more of the king. We get a little bit more of Liliha. We get a bit more of characters. We have Yaona get a little bit more. How should I say it? A little bit more, not battle worn, but like a little bit more conviction in his behavior, in his words, right? He gets hardened a little bit. We get some character development. We get bits and pieces of everything in every single episode, and it's great. And it's great because you don't have the feeling of, I really like the world building in this episode, but I really wish they progressed the story. Or, I like that they progressed the story, but I wish some things in the world were explained more. Right? Because you get bits and pieces of everything. Paced accordingly to the author. I don't know if the pacing is good or is it bad. It's only episode 5. Hopefully, all the answers that we can expect to find, we will find by the end of this series. What else? What else? Right. CG aspect of this show. I caught myself while watching it, and during the scene in the king's quarters, I caught myself thinking, oh, why did they make the lanterns and the something by the wall? Why did they make it CG? It stands out from, oh, shit. The whole show is CG. It kind of stopped registering at some point that it is actually CG. It started registering as 2D for me, and I guess it speaks for the quality of it. And also it speaks in favor of CG only shows. Mixing CG with 2D almost never works. CG only shows can work. See Doro Doro, see Ooyukiumi no Kaina, see Land of the Lustrous, although I haven't seen it myself. I heard a lot of good about it. But of course you can fuck up CG anime. X-Arm would be the best example, I think. But then again, you can completely fuck up 2D anime as well. I don't have any examples on hand, but recent Boruto episodes look like shit, so I guess that could be an example of it. Anything else? I'm looking forward to more, for sure. And I hope they chill a little bit with the cliffhangers. Although, no, was it a cliffhanger? It wasn't. It was a bit of a cliffhanger. It was a fear of a cliffhanger, right? Swings the sword. Oh no, is Liliha gonna die or is she gonna live? See you in the next episode. But no, we immediately know that she is going to live. She lives, actually, in fact. And we just now need to go and save her. Which is cool. Which is interesting. They give you that little bit of a cliffhanger, but then quickly resolve it. I can live with that. I can live with that, honestly. Anything else? I don't think so. I think that's all I needed to say, but I'm just gonna scroll real quick through this episode again. Also, I'm falling in love with Amalothe more and more with each passing episode, and I really hope that she rebels against the Admiral somehow, in some way, shape, or form. She's gonna get to rule. She's gonna get to rule Valgia. Liliha is gonna get to rule Atland, and those nations are gonna live in peace and harmony. Because Kaina is going to solve the issue of the rising sea and everything else. Hopefully. Hopefully. Also, as one last thing, if anybody can recognize the writing on the goblin that we saw in the underground, I would be grateful if you could tell me what it says. If it says anything. If it's just not kanji, not hiragana, not katakana, also do let me know that it's completely made up symbols. Interesting. Interesting what it says. We know for sure that writing is important. Writing is very important for this show. Crucial, even. The fact that Kaina can read, that's gonna be significant, extremely so. Probably, as someone said in, I think, some Reddit thread, they're gonna go down to like planetary control room, and there's gonna be labels for switches and levers, and Kaina is gonna be able to read some of them. One reads "unfuck the planet," so they pull that lever and the planet gets unfucked. That'd be great. That'd be great. And the moral of the story would be learn to read. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it. I'm not gonna prolong it any further. We're already nearing an hour and a half, so I think I overstayed my welcome. But maybe you guys, maybe you have something more to say. If you do, say so in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode, of my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? No spoilers, of course. I know episode 6 is already out. I'm gonna be watching it relatively soon, so don't spoil it to me. If you do want to talk spoilers, though, there's my Discord linked in the description. Also, there's a link here. You can go there, join the Discord. There's an Ooyukiumi Kaina channel where you can talk spoilers and not spoilers to your heart's content. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Ooyukiumi no Kaina, but also that other show I'm watching right now. That other show being, of course, Benriya Saitou-san Isekai ni Iku, and also Symphogear. We finished AXZ. Tomorrow I'm gonna be streaming the AXZ concert, so you might wanna be there for the live. Of course, there's also gonna be a VOD, so no worries. And some other shows, Madoka Magica Rebellion, I'm gonna watch it soon, I hope. And some other shows coming in the future, of course, as well. I also stream sometimes, not just concerts, but also some gacha games, some other games, so you might want to click the bell icon to be notified when I go live. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or Throne, links in the description below, or not, completely for free. Share my content, spread the word, It costs you nothing and helps the channel a lot. On Patreon, for $10 a month, you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Madoka, like Symphogear, and for just $1, you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. On Throne, you can pitch in directly towards my purchase of better gear, better software, stuff like that. And as I said, if you don't want to spend any money, just share my content. That does help bring new people to the channel, and that helps it grow, and that helps a lot in general. And that's it, I think. I went kinda out of order with that outro. No matter, though, because that's gonna be it from me for today. And as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the list of my current Patreons. You can be one of them, and you don't need to walk the bottom of the sea to achieve that.